Okay, Extreme Rules happened to fall on Star Wars Day, the exact same day The Simpsons did a Legos episode. So overall, pretty sweet day. Began with the triple threat elimination match. Rob Van Dam, Swagger, Cesaro. Swagger's eliminated first after taking the awesome outside the ring to inside the ring suplex that Cesaro does, followed by a 5-star. Okay? So now down to Rob Van Dam, Cesaro. And the ending, of course, involved a trash can, a neutralizer onto it. Nice match, worked well. Could we get the crowd started? Rusev versus R-Truth and Xavier Woods. Good job showing the brutality of Rusev. Almost said Kozlov. Of Rusev. Of course, he gets the victory. Yeah, decent match. Got its point across. Third match. IC title. Barrett, Big E Langston. These two actually have pretty decent chemistry. More than I actually expected. Nice amount of reversals. But a flying bad news bullhammer elbow. Yeah, instead of just the turning rotate, crack the guy in the side of the head with a good stiff elbow, he actually did like a running, jumping, flying version of it. Big E became your new IC champion. Overall, pretty decent match. Big E has shown when taking on a more established veteran, he puts on a phenomenal match. And then we go right into the Evolution Shield battle. I will say when it was Shield versus Wyatts, there's a lot more energy because the crowd was pretty evenly split. And this one, the crowd heavily behind the Shield. And I don't think I've seen a more perfectly done 6-man match. Everyone got to show fantastic spots. They got to show a good job when it came to the announcing team when discussing the psychology of the match. The Evolution did a beautiful job. Great job when it came to psychology, when it came to the raw power, when it came to splitting and conquering individuals. The Shield, Ambrose showed that he's a freaking lunatic. Seth Rollins showed that he can pretty much jump and run off anything and make a move look beautiful. The end of it, Ambrose, Rollins are fighting through the stands against Triple H and Orton. Triple H and Orton pretty much beat the daylights out of Ambrose. Rollins jumps off of like a second floor kind of like balcony area onto all three of them, lays them all out. Which then leaves Batista and Reigns in the ring. Reigns has taken a pedigree and an RKO and has sung it beautifully. Batista, triple powerbomb. Couple moves back and forth here and there. Big spear, 1, 2, 3. Shield defeats Evolution. Great match. It was not one of those matches where it felt like the Shield was just dominant. So hopefully those two teams will have some sort of interaction and payback. Beautiful, beautiful match. Now we get into the steel cage match with Cena and Wyatt. I have to say I didn't like. John Cena was pretty much dominant the majority of the match. He did a good job fending off Bryan on the inside, making his way almost out on several occasions, and then having either Harper or Rowan Morris force him back in. Cena tried to escape through the door, and both Harper and Rowan pretty much could not hold the door shut, so Cena couldn't leave. Harper gets into the ring, Rowan's on the outside, preventing John Cena from leaving the ring. Then they do this thing that I'll never understand why they do this in steel cage matches. Wyatt had Cena down. He didn't go for the door. He instead went to the farthest point from the door. Took an AA from like the second rope. Was going to get pinned, but oh hey, don't forget, Harper is still in the ring. Harper makes the save. John Cena then defeats all of them. Makes his way to the cage door. Everything goes black. There's a kid now trying to lip sync up with a distorted voice singing The Whole World in his hands like just like something you see out of like an Asian horror film. Like I almost half expected to see Bray Wyatt turn just jet white, black hair, meow, do the reverse crab walk, and take out John Cena. He did, of course, hit Sister Abigail. Didn't pin Cena. Instead, he walked out of the cage. So they've gone 1 for 1. And to be honest, when you thought Bray Wyatt took creepy to an 11 on Raw, he's taken it to a whole different level of creepy. He now has definitely entered like Asian horror film or French slasher film level of terrifying. It's just no idea where you go from here. Your next match, of course, ends up being Paige and Tamina. Probably one of the worst spots to be on the card. You just finished seeing a 6-man war. A ridiculous cage match that was so over the top with a bizarre, creepy ending. Then a Paige and Tamina. So the crowd is kind of worn out by this time. Paige takes it right to Tamina. And shows what happens when you have two people who know how to wrestle. Paige, being the smaller of the two, didn't actually have to play the whole like, oh, I'm just going to have to find a way to counter your moves. There's more of, no, I'm coming right at you. I'm going to hit you with everything that I've got, and I'm going to defeat you. Nice, beautiful assortment of moves. I liked that Tamina was trying to get up, so she's on her knees. Did like, Paige did like a head scissors to drive her down. Looked good, looked well. Those two had a very solid Divas match. Probably the best Divas match we've seen on the pay-per-view in quite some time. Probably since back to like TLC, where AJ took on Natalya. Alright, our main event. Kane, Daniel, Bryan. I always think that's odd when a match involves a forklift. And a hammer. And car. And cylinder. And the end of your match involves a flaming table. Yeah, I said flaming table. PG. Extreme Rules had a flaming table spot. The match between Daniel Bryan and Kane, nice, did a good job showing the overall just sheer brutality Kane can have. Showed how brutal an Extreme Rules match can actually be in the PG era. I think ending with a flaming table spot was freaking brilliant. It almost seems like WrestleMania is good Extreme Rules since all the matches are already pretty much ingrained. People get to go out there and just put on phenomenal matches. Even looking at like the handicap match with Rusev versus R-Truth and Xavier Woods. It did a good job in putting Xavier Woods on the shelf so he can do more work at NXT, maybe come back with a more invigorated character. And also showed the sheer amount of brutality you get from Rusev. So it told a good story. All of these matches told really great stories. And the nice thing is the majority of them aren't done. So what we kind of saw is it's kind of like WrestleMania is. The Batman Begins. It's the Iron Man 1. No, I can't say that because then it goes the wrong direction. It's the Captain America 1. And now here we are. We're at the Dark Knight. We're at the Winter Soldier portion. And it's great because everyone knows they've got a better chemistry together. They know what to do. They throw some great thematic elements when it came to the Wyatt match. Paige really starting to come into her own. The sickest thing is she's one of the best divas on the roster now. She's not going to hit her prime for about another 3 to 4 years. When she hits just a ridiculous groove. And everyone knows who she is. She's fully established. And people are much more in tune to her overall style. When she'll really, really set the world on fire with what she can do in the ring.